dun 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 dun
I could have like pulled that up. No, you just want to keep talking over me. Cool, that's cool. We could have just done that. We could have looked that up. Anyways, okay.
So
God, we're a train wreck.
Well, you know, if we played it, we could only play 7 seconds of it, like fair use or something like that. If we bullshit it with our mouths, which describes my sex life.
So, anyways, hi guys, welcome back to the show. This is one of our bonus episodes.
But this is going to be one in a series where we are talking about competitive D&D.
What does that mean, you might ask? I might ask the same thing.
Okay, so I will start out by giving the brief overview, and then we're going to dive in on our speculation and whatnot.
All the information that you have.
Okay, here's what we got.
I guess it's that any of us really have.
Yeah,
so far.
I haven't seen any updates, but all right. So there's a streaming channel that has partnered with Dungeons and Dragons in the past called Encounter Roleplay, and they have announced DnD Sports, which is a new online D&D tournament. The rules are simple. 2 teams of 4 characters will be placed in a dungeon and will battle to the death. These are exact quotes. Players will choose from a collection of 15 pre-generated characters, each with their own unique abilities and traits. In addition, the tournament will utilize a pick-ban system similar to some existing MOBA tournaments. Some of you out there are listening to this, and that last bit made no fucking sense. And it makes a slight bit of sense to me because I've hung out with Derek so much. But Derek, for people who don't know, could you explain, A, what's a MOBA, and B, what's a pick-ban system?
Okay, first of all, didn't know this was coming. A MOBA, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, I don't remember what it stands for right now. I know it's a multiplayer online battle arena is the type of, it's a type of game, generally from, there are different types, but it's generally from a third-person overhead perspective, where you pick one of the many champions in the game and play out a base. Basically, you're trying to get to a base and destroy the other person's base, is what it is in MOBAs.
What are some of the more popular MOBAs, Derek?
League of Legends is the only one that matters.
That's a fair assessment. Although
Dota 2,
Smite.
I can't remember if Smite ended or not, though.
I don't know. I just know this Smite had a contingent at DragonCon last year.
Okay, then,
I don't know if they did this year, though.
Yeah.
I didn't see them if they did.
And then there's some other ones that people are trying to, like, half and half it, like with Paladins and stuff like that. From what I understand, it's kind of almost like a first-person shooter MOBA or something like that.
But for all intents and purposes, all you really need to know is League of Legends is a MOBA. Everyone has probably heard of League. If you're listening to this, you've heard of League of Legends.
I don't know how you haven't.
Yeah, even if you never played it or seen it, you've
especially
heard
since
of
most of the people that listen to this have met me in person,
right?
And so they probably have heard about League of Legends.
So, and it's typically like when it's team based, like you're typically a team of five.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everyone picks their own champion. You can't have duplicates, though, right?
Right.
Once
so
a champion's been picked,
that's it. The picking and banning works is I will explain to you how it works in the League of Legends because I don't know specifically how they're going to make it work in this. But the general idea is a team will come into the game knowing that they're talented with certain champions, that they are more prepared to play than others. Now, those champions have strengths and weaknesses. They know that some of those champions are weak to other champions. So, they have a phase called Pick Ban, where at the beginning of the game, when you know you're trying to build a composition that does a certain thing or utilizes a certain character, you know that the easiest way for that team to get beat is for the other team to utilize specific abilities or champions. So, you have the ability to ban those champions out so that they cannot be used against you.
So, typically how it works is if I'm Team A and Derek is Team B, one of my players picks a champion, and then they start out with the bans, right?
The way it works is, for example, again, I'm using League of Legends because it's the one I'm most familiar with. Is one team bans a champion, the other team bans the champion. Then you ban, then they ban. Then you ban, then they ban.
Right. And
that's
then,
the first 3 bans of the game.
And you kind of alternate. It's not exactly 1-1-1-1, but you do alternate picking your champions as well.
Then you pick an S pattern, which is the blue team gets the first pick, then the other team gets 2, then you get 2, then they get 1. And in League of Legends, you get a second ban phase because there's so many available options. But I don't think they'll have. There's only 16.
Well, there's only 4. There's only 4 players a team and 15 characters.
Oh, I thought there was.
There's 16 or 15 possible characters, 4 players per team. So a little over half of the characters will be played each game. The cool thing is though about this, as opposed to League of Legends, like introducing a new character in this is basically just making another character sheet, which is a much less intensive process than designing, skinning, coming up with all the abilities and coding all that shit in League of Legends. Now, granted, League of Legends probably has like 100 people working on it, and this
it's constantly nonstop.
So because they come out with stuff all the time, but
that does bring some of the issues I have with this idea. That we'll talk about that more.
All right, so each game is still going to have 2 teams of 4 dropped in a dungeon fighting each other. Each game will still have a dungeon master and some opportunities for role-playing, but most of the games will be focused on combat. The tournament is also sponsored by D&D Beyond, which is it's a digital character builder and rules resource. So the tournament will feature 4 teams duking it out in single elimination format, with the winners determined by a best of 3 battle. The winner of the tournament will win $5,000, and money raised during the tournament will go to the A26LA charity. I don't know what the fuck that is,
but it's a charity. So
it's a charity. So how it's going to do November 10th at noon is Team Beholder versus Team Mindflayer, and then November 17th at 12 p.m. is Team Kobold versus Team Tarask, and then I assume the following weekend the winners will play.
Boy,
each other.
I wonder who's going to win, the Kobold or the Tarask.
All right. So, first off, that's what I want to talk about first, the names. All right, so Team Beholder and Team Mindflayer, those are solid, iconic D&D specific creatures. Mm-hmm. I am almost positive that Wizards of the Coast has the specific copyright on Mindflayer and Beholder.
Right, I think so as well.
And pretty much all the aberrations. They've got all the aberrations D&D basically came up with. Mm-hmm. And they make sense. Beholder and Mindflayer, they're iconic. They're similar. They make sense. Then your others is Team Kobold and Team Tarask.
Now, Tarask at least makes sense for me because it's ferocious.
Well, I have a problem with that.
Terrifying,
like a Beholder, I don't know.
Pretty OP, though.
I don't know what the CR on a Beholder is anymore, but I think the CR on a Mindflayer right now is like 8, and if it's Alhoon, it's 9. Mm-hmm. A Beholder, I think, might be like 11 or 12. A Tarask is like CR 21 or something. Like
which
CR
is to say,
20.
don't fight it.
Yeah, and a Kobold is like CR 1/4 or 1/2 or something like that. And the other thing is, like, Beholders and Mindflayers are both aberrations. I don't know what the fuck a Tarask is, but a Kobold is a fucking lizard critter. So, I came up with some alternate names.
Okay, and I'll tell you which one's right.
Okay. So, if you just wanted to go with some pairs, you could do Gith Yonki versus Githzerai.
That's one of the ones I thought of, too.
Yeah. But those names are pretty fucking similar. So I could see not going to that. So that's lower. All right.
What if you went like Gith and Drow?
Okay, I could see Gith and Drow. Both of them are a little weaker than a Mindflayer Beholder, but they're similar. And like I could go with that. I could go with Gith Drow. I think replace Kobold with a Kraken. So then it'd be Kraken versus Tarask. They're both CR 20, 21-ish monsters. Things. And like basically a Kraken is a sea Tarask, basically.
Yeah.
if you wanted to keep the aberration theme going, you
Which
could
I think is probably where you should go.
You could have... Well, the only reason I don't agree with that is because if they expand beyond 4 teams, you're going to fairly quickly run out. Like
because then if you go with another team, like if you had an expansion, then the expansion is into things that aren't aberrations.
Okay. Yeah. But I was thinking you could do Aboleth and Neogi.
I don't know what a Neogi.
Neogi, they're kind of like...
I recognize the name, and I know we fought one before.
They got like spider legs, like 8 spider legs. They've got kind of like a spidery torso thing that I think is kind of hairy, and then like they've got like almost like a snake-like wormy kind of head with like arm, like, so they're real fucked up. But it's an aberration, and I'm pretty sure both of those Wizard has the copyright on.
No flying aboleths? Or no flying aberrations?
Well, beholders levitate.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Nothing comes to mind. Umber Hulk. I know you had said earlier.
Yeah, I like Umber Hulk. And
that's an aberration. That
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then see that was...
So, but here's my other thought: giant versus dragon, or a demon versus a devil.
Yeah.
And like, just pick one. Like you could do Balor versus whatever the other.
What's the
Pit Fiend? Balor versus Pit Fiend, or those are roughly the two most powerful of the 2 types. But like you could do fucking Chain Devil versus fucking... I don't know.
What's the one with the swords that I'm always forgetting? They fought it. It was fighting a Pit Fiend or something?
I can't remember. But I was thinking like giant versus dragon.
Yeah.
Would like, especially if you picked like a cool one like Storm Dragon. Mm-hmm. We're not talking fucking
Storm Giant.
Storm Giant. We're not talking Hill Giants here, baby. Yeah. We're talking like Storm Giant.
Heavy hitters, baby.
Yeah. Versus like, a red dragon. They're very iconic D&D critters. So that's my first critique.
Do they make Mind Flayers that are higher than CR9?
Yeah. Litholich, Elder Brains.
Yeah, there you go.
Stuff like that.
What about, do they beholders that are stronger? Just different types?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different types
The
of
reason
beholders.
I ask is I know this makes no sense, and this is completely beside the point, but we're getting into pedantic nonsense.
Right, yeah. I feel like this entire podcast is pedantic nonsense.
What level... Yeah, I'm involved. So, the Storm Giant, what CR level is that?
Oh, fuck. I'm guessing 13, just a guess.
And then a red dragon.
It depends on what age. Yeah. Because dragons have like...
I got you. So yeah,
CRs.
I think that's the... To me, I think that would be the best one. It would have been red dragon,
Storm
Giant, Beholder, and
Mind Flayer.
Yeah,
I could fuck with that. So yeah, I am.
Think of the color schemes; they would all be drastically different.
Yeah, you could do.
Because you have red, and then.
But yeah, I don't know what color Beholders would be, but Mind Flayers would be purple. Red Dragon,
and blue.
Yeah,
and then,
you do Cloud Giant or Storm Giant in blue, and then I don't know what you do a Beholder. You could do green, maybe. I guess brown. But yeah, no. So 4 teams. 4 teams battling it out. Obviously, they're thinking it's going to take a decent amount of time, just because they're only doing one match a day. I feel like.
Yeah, but are they doing? Is it best of 3?
Yes, it's a best of 3.
But I didn't know if they were only doing best of 3 or the finals.
I don't know about they haven't said anything about the final. They also haven't announced the day of the final.
Okay.
And they haven't mentioned anything about what's beyond.
Wait, did they say it was a round robin?
No. 4 teams duking it out in a single elimination format.
Single elimination.
Yeah. So.
It'll be fun though. Anyways, but
yeah. All right.
What I don't understand is how is there some room for role playing, but it's mostly going to be combat.
I'm thinking it's probably going to come down to they're going to be using Roll20 for this, right. So there will be a grid. I'm sure they're going to fucking grid this the fuck out. Like it's going to be super
rules lawyer.
Well, I feel like they're
kind of have to.
Well, I think I read somewhere that they're talking about like slightly modifying the rule set. So I don't know what that entails. I don't know if they're going to simplify some
spells
things.
Can't be used.
Yeah.
Like
well, they can control that over the spell list, you know. But what I'm thinking is, where the role playing is going to come in is where if someone, like, obviously, like if you're like, okay, I'm attacking this person. If y'all are adjacent, you just do it, you know.
Yeah.
But like if you're like, hey, DM, I want to jump, roll, and into an attack, probably the DM will be there to set the DC for your roll, kind of deal. Some stuff like that. I feel like, and I don't know. It may just be like the DM is there to like describe the room or something. I don't know.
Man, I've got way too many questions about this. Like, I think that in theory this could be a very enjoyable thing, but it raises so many questions to me as to.
I think the biggest thing is how big are these dungeons, and are there going to be NPCs in these dungeons?
Right.
Because here's the thing: if both teams are going into a dungeon, you are either dropping them all in the same room at the same time, or you are going to have part of every match is people just going through these dungeons. So unless there's traps or NPCs or something in the way,
yeah, which I like that idea.
I do like that idea. I like I think definitely traps. NPCs, it gets a little more unless they have like it's just what like for the viewer it'll probably be not like it'll be like golf. It'll just be like non-stop action.
I just think
but for the players, I feel like they're probably like if this team is just trying to make it into the room where they're going to fight,
yeah,
and like doing a fight, well, obviously that other team's not in the room fighting with them, so that other team is just sitting there waiting on the DM to get to them, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe they alternate rooms, like, oh, y'all go into a room, let's resolve what happens. Y'all go into this room, resolve what happens, and then oh, y'all are now all in the same room, let's resolve what happens. So I don't know, like, do they just drop them in like one big room, and so everyone's kind of going at it, or do they actually travel through this dungeon? Because if it's just walking through a dungeon, that's real boring.
But see, my thing is, I think it's more interesting. Like if
all they're doing is just walking through a dungeon and there's no traps or monsters, then that's boring.
No, what I'm saying is, I think what would have been the more interesting way to approach this is each of the teams start at the end of the dungeon. Center is where they're going to have to fight.
Yeah,
they have the same exact obstacles coming from both directions. And you have to. Then the contest is you get to the center and you fight, and whoever wins wins. But the thing is, you have to take into consideration how much. Like, are you going to risk losing hit points by moving faster and accidentally getting hit by a trap?
Yeah.
Because the benefit of getting there early is you can set up the terrain against the people that you're going to be fighting.
Yeah.
I think that's the appropriate way to see this, because then also you have to think, okay, do we spend? If you have spellcasting, you got to be real careful about your use of spells on the way into the fight, because you might need them later.
Yeah,
I think that's the best possible place.
I like that. So here's my first question.
And if that's what they're doing, I am so fucking in.
Here's my first question.
If not, then I think I did it better.
What level do you think
5
they should be? 5?
Yeah, I think so.
5 is when classes start getting their second attacks. So that would...
I think it needs to at least be 5.
Yeah.
I would need to look closer to make sure. Do all melee classes that get second attacks, do they all get them at the same level?
I know... I can think off the top of my head, I know Ranger and Fighter both get theirs at 5. Or Ranger and Barbarian. So I assume everyone does.
I would think around that level. My thing is, it needs to be a place where the melees get their second attack.
Yeah.
But we can't go too much further than that, because
the
then
spells
the
are
spells
too OP.
Right. But that's why you need the second attack, is so that they can keep up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think, anyways.
No, I like that. My first thought was like, first off, definitely nothing like. I know there's going to be some people that thought, oh man, they should be level 20. No, fuck, they shouldn't. That's dumb.
They will just blow everything up and everything dies.
I could see maybe like a 8 or a 9.
8 or a 9.
Maybe,
that was my other
like
thing. I thought 12, but that's just too high.
At 8,
to me, anyways.
They could. I say 5 or 8 because at 8 you get the stat bump or the feat. And if these people are trying to make cool, really individualized, neat characters, a feat could go a long way to really make it pop.
That's one of the biggest issues. You're not making your character.
But I'm saying the people who are making the character.
I know, but my point is, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. Was just I think that's probably right, but I think that a large portion of the skill cap as a character is the way you've created your character. So I think them taking that skill expression out of the game is going to make things a little bit more iffy for me. It's like
I
understand why they did it.
Yeah,
sense,
to me, I like that it's pre-made characters because otherwise you're going to have some people in there that are just min-maxing the fuck out. And then, first off, there's just so much luck involved because it's a dice-based deal.
Yeah, which is another
But
issue,
I do like that because it can allow for big upsets and big turnarounds and whatnot. That's fun to me. But just because if everyone brings their own character or has to make a character on the spot kind of deal, some bad rolls on making the character. And then you're.
Well, see, that was what I was going to say.
You could do a point buy. I get that.
See, here's the thing: you don't even do that. You do it strictly. You have an 18, a 16, a 14, and 10s.
Yeah,
and you figure out where you want to put them.
You can do it like that. I don't.
Even that. Again, I'm not saying that's a better idea. I'm just saying that is a thing that I think of.
Yeah.
Because when I think of a D&D character or a D&D player, in large part, I think their skill is very dependent on how interesting or unique their character is that they create.
Yeah. I get that. I think I prefer it this way just because they can somewhat ensure balanced, rounded characters kind of deal. And so, all right. So 5, we thinking 5 or 8?
I would say there's another thing I want to look at a PHB to see what the difference between 8 and 9 is. Because if that's if there's a class feature that you get at 9
you get a class feature at 7. You get your archetype. You get your archetype ability at 7.
Okay, then the 8 is fine probably.
So you get an archetype ability at 3 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was one of those things where I wanted to just look and see if that one level would change spells enough, or if there was a thing where people got another class feature that was relevant.
Well, I know they don't get anything at 8 because that's when you get your ability score bump.
Right, exactly.
So,
7 is when you get the other one.
7 is when you get your archetype ability, but 9 you may get a class ability at 9, a class feature. I don't know.
That's the only thing I would say. So either 5 or 8 or 9.
Yeah, I could fuck with that. Do you think they're going to use the same dungeon for every I think part of the cool thing all right, so one thing about League of Legends is they always play on the same map, which I both like and don't like.
Right.
I don't like it because it's not very versatile, but at the same time, so much of the strategy involved
is because you know what the variables are.
Yeah, because you know. Right. So, here's what I think that they should do. I think they should
do it like CSGO, where they have different maps?
Well, I was thinking you use one map per tournament. Every tournament introduces a new map.
So this first one would be, all of these matches would be on the same...
Yeah. So everyone starts out not knowing what the fuck is going on, but then as
the game progresses,
as you move up,
this character would be better in this situation.
Well, yeah, and so it's you get the best of both worlds there. Yeah. You get a little bit of okay, well, I've done this map before. I kind of know what's going on. And I would say all right, so just for ease, let's say that this dungeon is three rooms to a side. You come into a room, you go into a room, and now you're in the room in the middle.
Right.
So let's say room 1 had a trap and room 2 had 7 bugbears.
Right.
I would say maybe it's the same map, but maybe you tweak it. So like maybe it's a different kind of trap in the first room, or something like maybe like some minor tweaks just to kind of keep people on their toes a little bit, but no major tweaks. Like maybe some little minor tweaks along the way. But for one tournament, you keep the same map. So then it rewards people who are good at innovation, but also good at learning to take advantage of surroundings. So and then also I think that'd be more interesting for the viewers in that we get every time. It could be like this time it's in a volcano, next time it's underwater.
If this takes off, I think it would be super cool if they stopped doing that and started doing it like CS:GO, which is you don't just pick ban. Like in that, you can pick ban the maps? You pick ban the maps.
Oh.
Because they're like, I know that this team has practiced these strategies on this map, and they're unbeatable on this map. I have no chance. I'm banning. You can't play that map.
Okay. That could be cool.
Yeah. If it takes off, I feel like that's...
I would like to... What I would like to see is like... if let's say they had like 4 kind of like officially sanctioned maps. These are the ones that are in 95% of the time, but they have special tournaments with special maps.
Yeah.
Because like League of Legends, it's not really worth it to them to code up a whole new map for a one-off tournament. But for someone like D&D,
But the thing about that is the fact that every single season the game has changed so significantly that it's basically a new game.
Right. Yeah. Because the meta changes so much.
Yeah, and just because they're like, oh yeah, dragons, they don't give you money anymore. Now they just give you a buff, and each one is different, and there's randomization in it. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Huh.
Yeah, they change stuff like that every single year. So if they did stuff like that, where you get the same from... If you had the same general... What if you had the same general layout, but you changed the variables, like the different types of traps, different types of monsters.
I could
kind of fiddle with that. Because then you still know that there's still a choke point here.
Yeah.
There's still like enough room where I can use this type of thing in this type of way.
So here's another thing to consider. I think they are going to have to do something. Because imagine this. One team just doesn't leave their room. Like the room that they started. Yeah. They're like, no, we're just gonna sit up here and wait for them to come through the door. I think
time limit or...
Well, I think the cool thing about it, because it's D&D, you can come up with storyline reasons that it's like there's a limit, like you have to be in here, or maybe the floor just fucking vanishes in this room after stuff like so. Like you will kind of. I think they're gonna have to institute something to prevent people from just camping, basically. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's going to be.
That's why
hard.
I like the idea of them meeting in a center point to fight there, and you have to try and decide how fast you want to get there, because the person that does get there first gets the benefit of camping.
Yeah.
But you are still participating actively.
Yeah. I also like the cool thing about this though is like they say dungeon, but it doesn't have to be a dungeon. Like it could be a forest.
Yeah, I assume
they can do all sorts of cool stuff with this. That I'm pretty hype about this. What my biggest worry is like with like League of Legends. There's some righteous assholes that play the game.
Yeah,
but it doesn't come through in the game really. Like if you're watching it, like some guy being a jerk and like
solo queue has very little to do with him being a jerk on whether or not.
Yeah. Like you can watch it, like you can watch League of Legends, and
just the professional matches.
Yeah, like you can watch. Yeah, you can watch. Like I don't speak Korean. I can watch a Korean team, and it doesn't matter. If they're being assholes, it doesn't come through in the game. In this, where people are going to have to be like, okay, well, I move here.
Yeah, see, that's the thing I'm curious about.
I am worried about an asshole ruining
Here's the thing: League of Legends, you don't hear team comms. You don't hear the comms between the teammates. What if you don't hear the comms between them? You just have announcers talking about what they're doing, be like, I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing, and then you get to see from their. I think that might be the way to go. But at the same time, you're not getting as much role playing.
Yeah, I do kind of want the role playing side of things.
But see, that was one of the things.
It'd be cool if they had if they had 2 streams going. One,
and you kind of choose which one.
Yeah, I want to watch this, or I want the commentary, or do I want?
They might do one where they go in and out, where they're talking about it. What are they talking about? What are they even planning to do? Let's cut into their team comms to see what they're debating about doing right now. And you cut in and you're like, no, but see, then I can throw the fireball here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I see what they're planning. Now they're planning to do this.
Yeah, that could be cool. I'm really hyped to see how this goes. I hope it's cool.
If they approach it the way that I
don't know why they didn't ask us. I don't know why they didn't bring us in. I feel like our email got lost in the mail or something.
It probably we'll have to check our spam filter.
Yeah, we'll check our spam. But I feel like they probably should have just brought us in on this. But first off, I want to follow this if it goes anywhere.
Yeah.
Second off, I'd be down to play it.
Well, see, that's my thing. It's this is a whole nother revenue source for them.
Yeah.
If this picks up. And not just the pro scene, but selling the packs of you can create little tournaments between your friends of actively trying to compete between 2 groups of friends. Can you imagine? I mean,
the 2 campaigns. Well, imagine
tournaments.
I don't know how I do it since you're on both teams.
Yeah,
but something like that.
You just kill me off in both of them, and then it's a 3v3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make you play both teams.
For some reason, I feel like I should definitely stand in the back right now.
Yeah. No, but I don't know. So, hot take. Who's the best team?
For humor's sake, it's going to be Cobalt.
Team Cobalt?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going Team Mind Flayer.
You want to just...
I think I'm going to look good in purple.
You just want to just not know anything about it. Just go ahead and pick a team. This is the team we're cheering for now.
We're going to tentatively pick our teams now, but...
If people we know are on one of these teams,
if it ends up not being 4 random people, if it ends up being oh my god, they got...
If someone from the C team shows up on one of these teams, there's no way I'm not pulling for that team.
Or they get Felicia Day on
or
there.
something.
Yeah, something like that. If Pat Rothfuss
shows up
team,
on one of these teams.
we're gonna root for that team. But pending
roster shenanigans.
Yeah. I'll be Team Mind Flayer.
And I'll be Team Cobalt.
Yeah. The other cool thing that we talked about off air a couple days ago when we started talking about this and getting hype was how cool it would be to have a pro-am that was the C team, Critical Role, dice camera action, and the A team?
Yeah, they're just the
Acquisitions Incorporated.
Yeah.
Have them do a 4 just do a single elimination, little quick tournament.
The best part about that would be the fact that the shenanigans that go on in Acquisitions Incorporated, because between Jerry and Mike, they just...
Yeah.
They're like us. They bicker constantly. So if they're in a competitive situation...
Oh, God, it'd be great. Yeah. Derek's dying. Oh, God. I think I just heard his lung plop out into the kitchen floor.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. But yeah, so, I don't know. I'm real hype. I'm excited for this.
It has a lot of potential.
It does. I can't really think of any more concerns or anything that I have. I mean, until we know more. I think that they're going to have to pretty quickly go up on their number of pre-generated characters.
Yeah.
I mean, really and truly, at the end of the day, what they could do is every class do one of every archetype. Just do a really good of each archetype on down the road. Maybe for this season, it'd be really cool if they knew all right, let's say we get to the point where they do seasons and they're like, this season we're going to do a bunch of woods based dungeons, and so they do ranger archetypes. They pick archetypes that are really good for
in the environment
kind of deal. I don't know, that could be cool.
But to start, I like the idea of there being just one of every.
Yeah, I feel like that's what 15. I don't know
But
how
see,
many
the only
base
problem is
classes
then you
there
don't,
are,
but then you don't get all of the wizards.
Yeah,
which is a problem.
True.
I don't know that you would get one of each of the packs.
You have to.
Warlock
We're playing this right now. What's your class? What class are you?
Paladin.
Going in as a paladin.
Of Oath of the Crown, if I get the option.
If you get the option.
Yeah.
They got an Oath of the Crown paladin. I'm going in as a.
Oh.
I think Abjurer wizard. I think.
Depending, see, the thing is, it really depends on how this game works. Because what if a divination wizard would actually be useful in the way that they present this game?
It could be. I think an abjurer, just like a wizard with some survivability to him.
Yeah.
You know?
My thing was, I was gonna say what is it? Circle of Spores,
Life, Trees.
No, just the basic shape-shifting combat one.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're super...
Oh, yeah.
Because you can shape-shift and fight. You can still cast real good spells outside of that. The druids are serious business.
I think druids get banned a lot.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Everyone's going to end up being
druids
stuck
and clerics.
They're just
going to ban out all healing.
They're going to ban out, I mean...
It's not the worst way to go about it.
If I had to ban 3, I would ban the cleric. I would ban the druid, and
I'd ban the bard. I would.
I'd probably ban a paladin over a bard.
Well,
but get rid of most of the healers, and all 3 of those are healers that can do some fucking damage.
My thing with the bard is just that depending on how much skill usage there is in the build, have to know what's going on.
It could wind up. So here's the thing. One thing that'd be awesome. All right, so
paladins need to get banned. Like you don't need a paladin.
So
with that aura.
So you're talking about the skill list, right?
Yeah.
All right. So clerics, for those who don't know, clerics technically know
all of the spells.
They just every morning they pray.
Right.
Does the cleric assign? Say these are what you prayed for that morning, or do you get to pick your spells?
Yeah, okay, so now that's different.
And same for the wizard.
Same with the druid.
Yeah. Now the sorcerer, the sorcerer is going to be one of the more skilled because you already know all your spells, but you're picking which ones to cast. Kind of deal. But the wizard, if it's a wizard with a big spell book, do you obviously you're going to want some good damage spells, but a good utility spell. Depending on the dungeon, Spider Climb could be... Featherfall could be amazing, Especially if you don't know what the dungeon is and you're the wizard and you're having to pick what spells what you memorized that morning.
That was the problem when I'm playing that bard in our current game. I'm just like, what the fuck do I do? I had Featherfall for the longest time, never used it. So I was like, well...
I'll make sure to put you
in a point where you need it. Because I just got rid of it because that's what I got. I unlearned that and learned Calm Emotions, which turned out pretty well.
That'll be better. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Again, it could
be
real good.
It could be real good or real bad. I would honestly rather it be real bad than just kind of average. I think
because then we could at least mock it.
Yeah,
and you'd be like, you guys should have done what we told you.
Yeah, so then we can make the better version. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this up this weekend, and then
I think we
will do after sometime. We will do our recap where we talk about. We'll do one after November 10th and one after November 17th, definitely after the matches. But if they release the rules beforehand, we might do something where we kind of all right, guys. So we've heard what the rules are, or if we hear who's on the teams, if enough news warrants it, we'll do another one of these.
There's a real way to make this
amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm really excited and expect at least 3 more episodes of this as we follow this first tournament, and maybe more.
Yeah, so we'll see.
So, you got anything else you want to add?
I'm curious to see if people play bards, because they can't do that much damage, but they do give you so much utility with the dice rolls.
Yeah.
They give you, especially if they build one that has the lucky feat.
God, I hope they don't give anyone the lucky.
I
fucking
hope
hate
they
the
do.
lucky feat.
I love that.
There's going to be a halfling with the lucky feat out there,
and the other feat that gives it where they can
like the halfling luck,
give their luck to someone else.
Yeah, God, damn.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Anyways, I'm curious to see what races they. Anyway, this is we can discuss all of this at a later date.
Yeah, I mean we're not like crunched for time or anything, but obviously, I mean, do you keep it to just PHB?
There's no way. I don't think they do.
Yeah, I mean they're saying 15. I feel like all the base classes get one, and then probably do a couple of fighters, maybe a couple of clerics, maybe a couple of wizards.
Yeah, see, I don't know, but see, I don't think.
But then the races,
I don't think they're going to just use the stuff from.
God, I hope not. I hope they fucking go into Volos, and I want to see a fucking goblin rogue or some shit.
You and that goblin fucking rogue.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm playing a goblin ranger. It's going to be amazing. Gloomstalker archetype, goblin ranger.
Are we doing a full goblin group? Is that what we're doing?
I think so, dude. I've read a bunch of stuff. I think it'd be really cool.
Okay, well, we can talk about that.
We'll talk about that off air. All right, this was fun. Hope this interests y'all. Please get at us. Tweet us I feel like Twitter is going to be where we do most of our talk about this.
Yeah, well, I'm on Twitter every day anyway.
So really, like, if you want to talk to us about this, Twitter or Facebook is where you need to get at us. You can shoot us an email though. We'll hear it. booksbeardbooze@gmail.com. But yeah, all right. As always, go forth and grow a great beard.